Today is my 100th episode. And I'm beyond proud of myself for that. You know, when I started doing this, I had no idea why I wanted to do it. I just felt like I needed to. And I did not know how much I was going to learn about myself through the process of just setting up these cameras and talking. And the level of work and patience and discipline that will be required to prepare for people, to prepare for the conversations, to respect their time. Like the ways in which all of these small little things are intertwined and connected to other things is just mind-boggling to me. And I know that we're here to talk. The theme for the conversation for me is cost, at least in my mind. But a part of the preparation for the conversation was learning about Amanda Seales. And the reason why I started with the shit I started with was because it's hard for me to listen to her. And I've got to do so much putting me to the side to listen, to connect to what someone else is saying, because I'm doing so much projecting. That woman is loud. She's opinionated. Monique is one of those other women that are like that for me. And a lot of it comes from like triggers and remembrances of my mother. And I'm glad that I had the assignment to just push through and listen to her, to really connect past the words and to connect with the energy and the spirit with which a lot of her sentiments are coming from. And I thank you for the opportunity to do that so that we can have, I think, a deeper conversation beyond just her as a person and more about just what she represents and how that type of archetype or person, you know, gets labeled and put into all of these boxes and sort of things. And so thank you for the time to say all of that. I know you had no idea that I was going to start like that, but yeah, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be the 100th.
Yeah, right? Right? It's a blessing. So Amanda Seales. What was it about her that made you recommend that I watch her?
Well, like you, before I saw that interview, I had only seen her on Insecure where she's playing a role, so you don't really know what anybody's like. And then I followed her on Instagram, and I didn't realize that she was so interested in talking about the world and less interested in promoting her next X, Y, or Z, like a lot of folks in Hollywood do and probably have to do to stay alive in that industry. Yeah. So by the time I saw that a lot of news outlets like the Griot, Essence, I believe, etc., took it upon themselves to write something about her out of the gazillion people on the planet that one might decide to write about, I took immediate interest in something more, which was then to watch 3 hours of her on Club Shay Shay, which I don't watch really, but I immediately felt like you might enjoy it because we have conversations from time to time, and there are parts of me that understand her fully. And when we were talking about something totally unrelated to her, that part came up in a question you asked me, and I was like, I feel that if you watched her, we would have a good conversation. And so it's so telling that you said that it was hard for you to watch. And so I'm curious, what parts of a loud, opinionated woman makes it hard for you?
Like I said, it reminds me of my mom. And as much as my mom and I have a much better relationship, there are these ways in which I respond to that kind of energy that resemble the way I respond to my mom. Sometimes that energy, I feel like I have to be, I don't want to say smaller, that's probably not the best word. You know, sometimes two things can occupy the same space and sometimes they can't. And with certain personalities, and because I have a certain personality, it's better for the situation to make space for that person.
So it reminds me of the thing that people say that I mostly hear men say, things like, I want peace, happy wife, happy life. They're not going to say what they have to say to keep the peace. But in that process, they abandon themselves because in that moment, they choose this perception of peace instead of each person having an opportunity to express themselves, right? Or feeling that anyone who shows up like that means I have to choose not to. And they might not know it's a choice. They might feel like that person put me here. And I think that any human being who takes up a lot of space has the potential to make other people who are listening feel like they need to make themselves small, pause, take a break, allow that person to have the stage. And the question I ask myself in those situations, because my dad was a lot like that, is what am I losing in this moment by doing this? I had to abandon something about myself in order for this person to show up yet again.
I used to feel like it cost me something.
Yeah.
But what I'm learning to do through the process is I don't have to abandon any portion of myself in order to create space for other people. My overall objective is to connect. I'm learning and developing the skills and tools and muscles to connect. And a part of connecting means taking my ego, taking what I want from the situation or what I perceive I want from the situation and put it to the side so that I can actually connect, not with the words, but with the spirit in which the person is communicating. And because I have these initial reactions and triggers to people's energy, I'm trying not to make them responsible for that or make them feel bad for how they're showing up, but moderating the internal challenges that I'm having with dealing with how they're showing up and using that to filter through so that I can actually connect.
It shows up, so anything that is unhealed in you will show up when unexpected or uncertain things happen. And so you're still working on it, which is why she had the capacity on a TV, not actually interrupting you, that you volunteered to listen to for 3 hours, triggered you. Because that shows up in your mind as something that in the past maybe you didn't feel great about, right? And so, in my opinion, that's the beauty of life. That, you know, you think you're done, you're like, oh, there's more.
And that goes to a part of what I feel she was saying about being misunderstood and mischaracterized, because that's a 3 hour and 10-minute joint, right? I was managing my own internal shit like 60, maybe even a little past an hour into the joint. Because even how I'm hearing how she responds to Shannon Sharp, like there's so many things there that that I'm interpreting and responding to in my mind about things. I'm not listening to her, I'm responding. And in most cases, we are responding to people. We're not listening to them. We're not connecting to the spirit. And if we are intellectual in nature, as a lot of us are now that we're degreed and a lot of other things, words matter.
So Shannon Sharp was loud and opinionated and often wrong in this interview. Did you feel triggered by him? Or just Amanda.
I understood his energy more than I did hers.
Exactly. I was really I didn't know what your answer would be, but in my head when I asked it, I said to myself, he's going to say, I understand him. I understood him. But you said it differently. But what I think we're getting, this is exactly what worked for me in this interview. I don't know her. I neither like nor don't like her. I don't have an opinion of her as a person because I don't know her, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, I've decided if I like her. That is the wrong assignment. My assignment was to understand what showed up in me, and that's why I identified with her.
Okay.
Because I'm somebody who was rocketed to this earth with this covering, with this at this particular time, not in Japan in 1865, as a man. My soul is rocketed to this planet at this time with this covering under these circumstances. Mm-hmm. But I believe that the soul that was rocketed here would have been the same one that was in Japan in 1865 as a man, right?
Okay.
It's just I would have had to filter my core differently. When you show up on this planet with a lot more than other people perceive that they have, you're in trouble.
Say that again.
When you show up on this planet, on this earth, among these humans, with more than other people perceive that they have, you're in trouble. And you heard the introduction. You heard her introduction. You can see that she can manifest all the things, right? And she's unabashed, unashamed, unapologetic about it. And is okay with saying, I have these things. I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But she's also in a world where you're supposed to wait for those compliments, especially if you're a woman. You're supposed to wait before you say anything about yourself that's amazing. Let other people say it, then you know it's real. But also don't live up to other people's expectations. But also know that you're the bomb. But don't be too loud about it. Might make other people feel badly. And so I think you didn't get triggered by him the way I got triggered by him, because
Oh, you got triggered by him?
I totally did. Never got triggered by her. Wow. I was completely like, if he doesn't stop trying to tell her what her life actually was and interpret it for her and just listen.
That's what you heard from
That's all I heard, because that's all I hear. That's usually what I hear. If I say, I did this, I felt this, so-and-so. But do you think that maybe you could have experienced it differently? I really don't think I can go back in time and experience that differently. What I'm saying right now, can I reinterpret it? Sure. But the idea of telling somebody to experience something differently, to me, is a phenomenon of responding and not listening. Why is it that you feel you need to layer your worldview instead of saying, help me understand it? It doesn't interfere with your sensibilities as a person, as a listener. You still have the capacity to ask some questions about what they experience instead of asking those leading Noam Chomsky speech act questions, which is, but do you, instead of saying, I think that you are obsessed with race and it wasn't racist, they say, but do you think that it would be the same if she was white?
Wasn't he doing some of that though?
That was a problem though.
Okay.
This idea of not just saying, just say what you think. Amanda, man, you obsessed with race.
Yeah.
That was not racist.
Okay, just get to it.
Would it be the same if she was, if so-and-so? Do you really think what you want to do is tell me what you think and that I'm wrong? Say that. Don't try to pussyfoot around it and suggest that get me to have this moment where, so you're going. That's not what's happening here. You actually just want me to know what you think about what I think about what happened to me. And you've gone past asking questions to understand. You are at opinion sharing moment. I think you're wrong. It wasn't about race. You too so-and-so. You too much. You too extra. Just say that. Let's have a conversation about that. That's real shit. I love that. But it's the speech acts like, I wonder if maybe that skirt is a bit short for the event. You want me to change my clothes? Oh, no. I would never. Well, then why do you wonder if it's too
Yeah.
short for the event.
Yeah,
You want me
yeah.
to change my clothes. Let's talk about why you think this skirt is too short. What is it that you're worried about? Let's go there.
Okay.
That's fun.